to drive today. I was in the first one. But I'll double check with Kat. But,
Oh, that's not the right one.
yeah.
I can't feel that.
You
And
know,
they
Miss
usually
Lynn,
have different legs. So that's a big plus for me.
I don't know. Okay. Okay. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
You know, just tell me.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Whatever.
Awesome.
Something.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
But call me. And,
Okay.
Hey, Larry.
Are you doing your still update there?
Yeah. Oh, he's struggling.
Are you?
Yeah, man. Jared.
I'm just giving the MPA update. I mean, hopefully Shelley's on here in high school. She should have
Let's think about
an hour today.
it. Sorry, I got you going.
And did all the good bad drops with kids. And like told us how graduation is going.
I think when she came in, that was the stipulation.
Serena, I got your message. We'll just have to figure out a way for you to sign those documents tomorrow somehow.
would it be?
I can skip over to Phillips in the morning if need be.
Okay. I mean, they'll be there all day, or if you need, someone to bring them out, we could do that too. So,
No, I don't go to work until 2, so that works for me. I thought Thane would be here, so I'm sorry.
oh, that's fine. Thank you. We're dealing with a little bit of technical issues right now, so we'll be getting started in just a few minutes. What's your on your broadcast? Hi, Kate.
Attached to one of those documents.
Thank you.
I'm gonna mute you.
We're just waiting on Jared to see if we can get Lois and Paul on the telephone. We'll start the meeting in just a minute. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, well, we're going to start the meeting, guys. I'll call this meeting to order at 6:40, and we will stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we have introductions of all board members, and we'll start here at the table with Barbara.
Cindy Dixon.
Kim Jordan Kingfield,
Jessica Kane Phillips.
Katie Burris. Sorry.
Kim Robinson Kingfield.
okay, and then we have remote Serena,
Serena Howard, Strong.
Nicole,
Nicole Norton Phillips.
and I think that's it for board members remote. Thank you. Next, we have the administrative staff, starting with Jeffrey.
Good evening, Jeff Pillsbury, Principal, Phillips Elementary.
And Lorraine,
Lorraine Olson, Special Ed Director.
Scott,
Scott LaHaye, Maintenance and Transportation.
oh yeah, Kristen,
Christina Stevens, Assistant Principal Athletic Director, Mount Abram.
and
Lynn Carey, Business Manager.
Jared.
Jared Young, Technology Director.
Do you?
Saul Sanders, Superintendent.
And those joining remotely, Dora,
Dora York, Food Service.
Johanna Prince, Principal, Springfield Elementary. And just a note for those of you at Mount Abram, the feedback is really bad for those of us on the call. So if folks can mute when they're not speaking, whether they're remote or in person, it does help.
Shelley,
Shelley Tranton, Principal, Mount Abram High School.
Brenda Dwiggins, Principal at Strong Elementary.
hey, did we forget anybody? No, great, thank you. Review and approval of the agenda minutes.
But Kim, if you stay muted when you're talking, we then can't hear you.
Thank you, Johanna. Thank you, Johanna. You could have sent me a text. Okay, so we have review and approval of the agenda and minutes, prioritization of items and alteration of the established agenda format sequence as needed. I would say to say that we're all set there. Approval of the agenda. And anybody have any issues with the agenda as she's set? Approval of minutes of previous meetings. We have dates of Thursday, May 21st, 2020. Yep, and I think that is it.
So I make the motion that we approve the minutes for meeting on Thursday, May 21st, 2020.
I second. I have a correction.
Okay.
There were very detailed notes, but under section 7, item A, very bottom of the page, this mistake was not typical.
to have a 2-year contract, et cetera, et cetera. And I believe I said it was not included.
Okay, section E.
5.7, section E, administrator section, and all the way at the bottom. I think there should be one word.
Oh, I see, atypical to have. Do you understand that, Lynn? You all set? Thank you, Cindy. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
So it's unanimous, everyone is participating.
Looks unanimous. Okay, so there were no opposed, huh? Where is Nicole? Oh, there she is. Okay. So everybody that's in attendance was in approval of it, so thank you. We'll open up the floor for public comment with the telephone number calling in 678-2701 extension 4302. And we will give it a minute. Yeah, unless, does anybody in Zoom have any comments while we're waiting?
Teacher, it's on the agenda.
I didn't get the picture. Sorry. Shut up. Have fun.
What made you think to look? What made you think to look?
Double check.
Jared, what are you doing to me?
I had you muted while we were waiting for phone call. But I haven't touched it since. So
I think you're good.
I can hear you now.
There you go. Oh, let's see, he's still in the meeting.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Okay.
By the time we figure this out, we'll be done.
Exactly. Okay, next we have recognitions and celebrations. Bailey McLaughlin, 2020 Maine Principals Association Principals Award.
Yep, and I'm going to turn this over to Shelley to let Shelley speak as to what this award is. Unfortunately, we wish we could be recognizing individuals such as Bailey in person, but obviously situation we can't, but I do see she's with us remotely. So you might want to mute your sound.
I did. I'm muted. No, I'm not.
So Bailey, sorry for the delay. Shelley, want to take it away?
Sure. So the Maine Principals Association has an award that's presented to seniors throughout the state of Maine every year. And a senior that is selected is someone who shows great citizenship and somebody who is very active in their school and in their community. And that senior for the graduating class of 2020 is Bailey McLaughlin, and she goes above and beyond. So this is a great, great recognition for her. And we would have been celebrating at a special luncheon back in April in Bangor, but unfortunately due to COVID, we weren't able to do that. But Bailey would have received at that luncheon, which she will still receive, a plaque and a pin recognizing and honoring her for this award. And I'm just very proud of her, very excited to see what she goes on to do, which she's working on her pilot license. I don't know, Bailey, you may already have it, and is going to school for aviation. So we're very, very proud of her.
Bailey, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate what you guys have done, and that I was invited to this meeting and everything. But I do not have a pilot's license yet, but I should by the fall, and I'm excited to go to college.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, Bailey. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Christine, did you want to add anything? Well, Bailey, thank you for joining us remotely. Congratulations. And this is where I tell you not have to participate for the remainder of the meeting if you would like to depart at this time. But congratulations and best of luck in your future.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Congratulations, Bailey. Next, we have correspondences, letter of resignation from Jennifer Adams, Transportation.
I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Jen Adams.
With regret.
With regret.
With regret.
I feel like we did this.
And Jess? And Jess seconded it. Any discussion? All those in favor?
What is that pulsing feedback?
But you can mute me.
Next, we have discussion items, proposed board meeting schedule for 2020, 2021.
Yep, that was a schedule that I shared with you last week. There was a request to make one change to one of the meetings, the last meeting, because that's been I think it was the last meeting. It's been a conflict with one of the local town meetings. So I did make that adjustment, move that from the third Thursday to the second Thursday. That would be June. Too late.
Okay, so we're looking at the meeting dates. Was there any feedback? Great, thank you. Yep, thank you, Todd. Committees, appointments and reports, and I would say it's safe to say there were no subcommittee meetings.
Actually, the academic committee did meet last week. I can talk a little bit more about it when I talk about math curriculum, but the academic committee meeting did happen last week.
You want to wait and talk about it on the math?
Sure, if that's all right with the board.
Yep.
It was just to sort of.
Is everybody okay with that?
The academic committee did meet, but she's going to share during
The math
curriculum.
on the agenda. Does anybody have any objections to her waiting and doing it? Okay. Next, we have State of the Schools District Administrators, Mount Abram High School, Shelley.
So we are gearing up for graduation. That's this Saturday. And sorry. We actually had a drive run with the faculty that is helping with graduation. We're set to do 13 graduation ceremonies Saturday, groups of 4. Students are able to invite up to 8 guests. And we're really looking forward to it. We've got some special things in place for our kids, for our graduates. And other than that, our seniors have started coming back today and tomorrow to return computers and things like that and pick up their caps and gowns and sashes and graduation cords. And next week, our underclassmen do that. And we're wrapping up classes for our underclassmen this Friday. And our seniors' last day was last Friday, the 5th. So pretty much graduation is it. That's on the forefront right now.
Thank you, Shelley. Next, we have Strong Element.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a great evening. So pretty much like the high school, it's all about our 8th grade and celebrating them the best that we can during this situation. We have an award ceremony on Thursday with Senator Russell Black. We'll be there to help with some of those special awards. And then on Friday, we have our parade where the teachers are going to the students. We'll take their signs from the school, and we have treat bags for them and all their awards. And we'll do that Friday. We also are celebrating Rebecca Lane, one of our special ed techs is retiring. So we'll present her with her gift Friday morning before the parade. We are as well wrapping up with device collection and collection of our books that belong to the school, and talking about Title I goals and what we can adjust, possible scenarios for the fall. Our teachers, they want to research as much as they can during the summer. And lastly, I'd like to say, and you'll see that in just in section 8, congratulations to our new art teacher, Katie Burris. So you'll get to meet her in just a little bit. And Jeff and I are excited to have her on board with us. That's our wrap up for Strong Elementary.
Thank you, Brenda. Then we have Phillips Elementary School, Jeffrey.
During this week, teachers continue to provide remote instruction and support as much as we can. We've tried to change things up a little bit to keep engagement and interest high. Friday, remote learning will conclude for the year. I think parents and students, teachers are happy with that. Some of our teachers are still engaged with professional development, PBIS, and will continue into next week. Next week, cleaning buildings and teachers will be in, doing end of the year stuff. So we should see a lot of staff in the buildings next week. Monday, we're collecting laptops and books from the students. And in the early talk next year, but it's difficult because it's up in the air if we're returning and all the options that are out there. And obviously, as Brenda said, special week for 8th grade. We're planning a parade Friday off-site, and our kids will do a little parade. That will be outside and we'll have cars lined up, and so it should be pretty exciting. And then we have a 1 o'clock awards Zoom meeting, and hoping Zoom treats us nice and it goes well. So that's it for Phillips. And
Then we have Kingfield Elementary School, Johanna Prince.
Sure. So Kingfield is wrapping up 2 weeks. We switched it up for the last 2 weeks and did some integrated units that have had kids from across pre-K through 8 in them, just trying to keep kids engaged as long as we can. So that concludes on Friday. Tomorrow we're doing our 8th grade Celebration of Learning parade. We'll start around 8 a.m. at Kingfield, head down towards New Portland, then turn around, go back north to Carabasset Valley, come back, go to Salem, and end back in Kingfield. So it'll take us most of the morning, but really looking forward to celebrating those kids. And then on Friday, we have a whole school Zoom assembly to close out the year. And like Brenda and Jeff, we collect devices and do wrap up with staff next week.
Great, thank you, Johanna. Then we go to district-wide administrators, technology, Jared Young.
Okay, well, the biggest update I can give you right now is everybody knows about the issues we've had with our phones and our voicemail server. We do have new hardware on the way. It has been ordered. It is coming. As soon as it gets here, we will contact Consolidated, set up a time for them to come in and get it set up, move everything over, get everything up to where we need to be. So that'll be really good that we can do that. And the tablets that we have gotten from the state, we really tried to get them so they could be used as regular tablets. We just couldn't get it to work. All the schools in the state are having the trouble with that. So actually next week at the META meeting, we'll be talking about that. It's one of the things that's on the agenda. So we are not the only ones that have had issues with that. So we're just going to be getting them all activated and then deactivating them for the summer so that we have that time in the fall to use them. So other than that, that's the two major things that needed to be updated.
Thank you, Jared. Next week.
Yeah, the food service program as we know it ends Friday. And I know the bus drivers are looking forward to having a few days off and parking those buses. It's starting to get a little warm in there. We're still looking at the summer program, but it appears that it's going to be scaled down quite a bit. And as far as the buildings, I think we're in good shape. I've taken a lot of time this summer and even learned about some things that I didn't even know existed before, but and we've got a few things fixed that have been a long time coming. So we've had the time, it's time to do it. Other than that, I'm on vacation next week, Yahoo for me. And after that, the gym floors are scheduled to be done on the week of the 22nd. And we're just gonna keep moving on and getting the rest of the buildings done. And then we'll probably start working on some outside projects.
Great, thank you, Scott. Have a great vacation. Very well.
Hi, this is Lorene. We've spent a lot of time working on preparations for our summer school services. We have been getting guidance from the DOE, and we have decided to be prepared to provide that service, whether it's remote or in person. We've been tuning all of the work that students are going to have and who's going to provide that to align with whichever scenario occurs. One of the things that I brought up at the DOE meetings was the later we do it in the year, the better prepared kids are to come back. So we're doing all of ours in August, which is when we usually do. And we're going to be providing that in a similar fashion to whatever the district and state guidelines are, so that they are best prepared to integrate back into whatever programming we will have on September 2nd. So we have been working on that, and I think we have a good plan. The staff is on board. In terms of the support for students, it's continuing throughout this week. I continue to see a lot of communication between families and special ed case managers and our therapists that work with our students. We've been providing OT services, speech services, and lots of our reading, most of our reading programs, writing, and math, and some ingenious ways of teaching math, some specialized programming that allows them to be writing together. It's really complicated, but it's amazing stuff. We continue to find really new ways of reaching kids academically and socially. The social workers continue to make contact with families and students every week on the caseload. In the area of GT, we've had a lot of, they've had Zoom meetings with kids, and we had a GT committee meeting working on our identification process. And we've discovered some free trials of online programs, and it's resulted in some enhancements going forward for our students for next year. We found the ones that we like, and we've negotiated some pricing on those, and we'll be ordering those once the new fiscal year starts. I think that's just about it. I mean, it's a busy time of year. We have a lot of end of year requirements that every single case manager has to do, along with educational technicians, our documentation, which is a lot higher level of documentation that's required for special ed students on each of their goals and what they've done. I've been meeting with teachers to make sure that they understand the DOE guidance on how that's supposed to happen. And it's in place and going to be ready to go in the mail on Friday or Monday, whichever date that things get mailed. So that's about it. Any questions? No? All right, thank you.
Great, thank you, Lorraine. Then we have food service, Dora York.
Hi, guys. So Scott and I got together today to try to figure out our food service program again, because we've, like the state, we change our mind every day too. So we've come up with a plan now that we're gonna take next week off, and we're going to send some shelf-stable meals out Friday with the Friday lunch to make sure that there's something to carry through next week. Then the following week, starting on the 23rd, we're going to start bulk feeding at all 4 schools. We'll have an hour window where anybody can come and pick up a box of 5 meals, 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches. So that's the best plan we could come up with for food safety, as well as keeping the cost down for transportation and that kind of thing. So, and to still get that out. I've got a letter all drafted that's going to go out in the bags with the meals on Thursday as well, to let parents know what's going on. So that's the biggest thing going on in our world.
Great. Thank you, Dora. Hey, Julie, thank you for joining us. I see you're on there. Next, we have nominations for, I'm probably going to butcher this, but Jocelyn Italian, English teacher from Mount Abram High School. I'll do each individual one.
You can have individually, you can do them as a collective.
That we have Ron Fiddler, Transportation, and Kimberly Stoddard, Custodian for Mount Abram High School for in the evening. And Giselle Haynes, Education Technician, transferred to Kingfield Elementary School, and Catherine Burris, Art Teacher, Phillips and Strong Elementary School.
I make a motion that we accept those 5 nominations for their positions.
I have a question. Giselle Haynes' transfer sheet, it says she's going into an Ed Tech 3 position, but it says her certification is in Ed Tech 2.
I can check on that. I just had a technician on this. So I'll have to check.
Lorraine might know.
Lorraine, do you know? Giselle, do you know what ed tech level? Okay.
Ed Tech 3.
2.
It has 3 here.
Yeah, we have to correct that.
Into a 3 position, we only have 2 certificates.
No, we have to correct that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments?
You want to wait? Well, okay. Any further discussion?
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Julie,
Were you in favor? And Jeff?
everybody here was, Julie gave us, Nicole's in favor, Julie gave a thumbs up.
And Serena. Great. That was
Now
unanimous.
we've got I know that Katie's here with us, so I don't know if we want to let Katie say anything if she would like to. Hello, Katie. Katie, one thing I got to do, I see on my hiring form, I have Catherine spelled with a C, but as I'm looking at your name on the screen, it's Katie with a K, so I'm assuming I need to make that correction.
Sure. I know it's a little confusing. Yes, it is. Catherine with a C is the formal name, but yes,
okay.
Katie with a K is what I go by.
Good,
So
you got that right. Perfect.
yeah, it's been confusing my whole life. So, but yeah, no, I just wanted to say a quick hi and thank you so much for inviting me to this meeting. It's a pleasure to meet all of you right now, and it'll be even nicer to meet everybody in person. Hopefully by the end of the summer. And just want to say I'm so excited about this opportunity, and I know it's just going to be a great new upcoming school year, and I'm just really excited to work with the team. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, and it usually runs a little smoother than what you may be seeing this evening. But as you can see, it's a good group and we do laugh. So that gets us by. So I welcome you. And I will tell you that Mr. Wiggins was blowing up my phone with cell phone messages over that we've got to act on this. We've got to act on this. So she is very excited, and as is Jeff, to have you on board. So welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
And are any of our other applicants joining us remote?
Jocelyn, you're on here.
Jocelyn. And you did say my last name right. So I want to say this is going to be my first year of teaching, and I'm really excited to begin my journey with you all and experience everything that will happen this school year and see how it's all going to shape us and make us all work together better. And I'm excited. So.
And not to leave you out, I will say that Shelley and Christina were excited to have you on board as well. So if their enthusiasm is any indication of the 2 hires that we have in these 2 positions, then I'm very excited to have you on board. So, and I'm trying to remember what my first year was like, and I can't. So you'll have to remind me as we go through the process. So
all right.
I'm on board, both of you. And I'm going to give you the same opportunity as I did our student recognition. If you would like to excuse yourself, thank you for staying with us as long as you have, and you are free to go. So thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. Then we have administrators 2-year contract. We have Lynn Carey, business manager, Jared Young, technology director, and Christina Stevens, assistant principal athletic director.
Yep, I had brought these names last meeting, and it was asked that we go back to the evaluation group, and I met with them. And I won't speak to Cindy. Cindy was there, and as was Jesse, so they can speak if they choose. But we went back, we reviewed those, and they are coming forward with the recommendations at this time.
You want to make a recommendation? Motion?
So I'll make a motion that we accept Lynn Carey, Jared Young, and Christina Stevens' 2-year contract.
A second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Those in favor, Julie's in favor.
It's just, and then Serena. And see. Okay, all those present? It was unanimous, thank you. Then we have administrators, 2-year contract, 1-year extension, Scott LaHaye, Director of Transportation and Maintenance, Brenda Dwiggins, Principal for Strong Elementary School, Johanna Prince, Principal at Kingfield Elementary School, Michelle Tranton, Principal at Mount Abram High School, and Jeffrey Pillsbury, Principal at Phillips Elementary School.
And again, the same process was followed with these recommendations as well. Went back to the evaluation committee and after discussion, they support those. So we bring them to you tonight.
I make a motion that we accept the 2-year contract for administrators Scott LaHaye, Brenda Dwiggins, Johanna Prince, Michelle Tranton, and Jeff Pillsbury.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Wait a
Oh,
minute.
sorry, Julie.
So you're saying it's a 2-year contract, just as motion was a 2-year contract. Is it a 1-year extension or is it a 2-year contract?
It's a one-year extension on the current contract. You can revise it and just say an additional year. It gives them a 2 years.
So it gives them a 2-year contract, 1-year extension.
Is that worded right?
As she just said it?
Right.
I believe so.
Yeah, okay. Any discussion?
Can you rephrase what the motion is?
All right, Julie.
I need to know what I'm voting for. I can barely hear anyway. All I hear is feedback mostly.
Oh, I'm unmuted. All right, try again, Julie. So I make a motion that we extend their 2-year contract with a 1-year extension for Scott LaHaye, Brenda Dwiggins, Johanna Prince, Michelle Tranton, and Jeff Pillsbury.
You second it?
Any further discussion?
You're muted.
No. Okay, I'm permanently muted. Oh, here we go. Any further discussion? Quick before I'm muted. All those in favor?
Julie.
And Serena? Okay. Great, unanimous. Thank you, guys. Old business, the old COVID-19 update.
So COVID-19. The first thing I have on my list to share with you is the whole PPE, the personal protection stuff. Some schools are going out and mass ordering a bunch of bulk stuff now. Fear of not being able to get it later. I've been in communication with SAD 9, and we're going to play the wait and see approach at this particular juncture in time to see if changes or see what the state will come up with, because the rumor is now I do have a meeting with Commissioner Macon tomorrow. So we may get more information tomorrow, but at this point, our approach is going to be wait and see, and then maybe put us in a spot where we're scrambling down the road, but we're hoping that the state is going to come up with the materials that we need to provide that. One district in the Kennebec Valley, I know, is spending $25,000 on masks. They're already making that commitment. It's just not a commitment that I feel comfortable making right now. So we're going to play it's changing so quickly. We still got 2.5 months. So we're going to wait and and see how things play out. And we're in it together. So we've made a pact that if we order in bulk together, and hopefully that will be a cost savings as well. But that's where we stand right now with those devices. Fall guidance, the administrators met. We're going to meet a couple times with the goal of having some guidance for our families by the 6th of August. And again, that still could be up in the air, but I know people are chomping at the bit to find out what is fall going to look like. I did send a correspondence out, which I shared with the board to all staff in the district, just explaining it to them. We'll come up with a variety of scenarios, but there are just some things, as I look at Scott in the back of the room, there are some things in transportation alone, it would take us 5 runs a day to get every student here based on the restrictions that we have. And we just can't financially, driver wise, or even educationally do that, because we'd have kids arriving at school at noontime. So we're going to have to weigh all the guidelines that we get from the DOE, from the CDC. We'll come up with a variety of options, and then we will apply whatever is best for MSAD 58. So that's a kind of a wait and see game with that. CARES Act, we are populating what we would like to utilize those funds for. My goal is to have the CARES Act completed and submitted. There's no timeline on it, so it's not like we're up against the crunch to get that done, like some other things that we've been dealing with recently. But I will be completing that with the hopes of submitting that by the middle of next week. That's my goal. So those are the 3 things that I have under the CARES Act, under the COVID-19 update. I'm looking around at the administrators here and administrators on screen. I'm not sure if there were other pressing things that we talked about. I think it's just kind of, we're trying to wind down this year and get through the end of this year. And I've encouraged all staff and administrators to take a little break, try to recharge their batteries, and then we'll start tackling again in July.
Great. Thank you, Todd. We have new business, math curriculum, and an update with the academic committee by Johanna.
Jared, could you give me permissions to share my screen?
You're the host now. You should be able to do it.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to share my screen. This proposal hopefully went out to you, to the board members and to the academic committee earlier. Sorry, I'm just going to mute everyone. But I thought I would share it just because there is a lot here. As Todd mentioned, we now know what our CARES dollar figure is. And you'll recall that during the budget process this year, we had to eliminate the investment in math curriculum. We expect, because of remote learning, our students will have, sorry, I have to move over to the other screen. There we go. Now you should see it. We anticipate that our students are going to have even more potential holes in their content knowledge because of remote learning. So we would like the board to consider supporting a proposal where we would take some of the CARES money that we have been awarded and use that to invest in math curriculum. You'll see at the bottom of page 1 on the document I sent out, we are looking at kind of breaking this apart into 2 areas, with one solution for K through 4 teachers, and then a different solution for grades 6 through 8. You'll notice that for next year, we're not making a proposal for anything in grade 5. We would continue as is with instruction in grade 5, because the company that produces the 6 through 8 materials is releasing a grade 5 material. So rather than have those middle level teachers have to consider 2 curriculums, you know, we would like to consider doing one that works 5 through 8. We also are looking at the investment in a more robust online learning platform. Currently, the thing that we feel is the best option is Dreambox Learning. And then we know with any new curriculum rollout that we would want to invest in the professional development. So you can see kind of what we'd be considering there. On page 2 of that document, what I tried to do is on the left-hand side are the different items. That peach color that you can see, and let me see if I can make my screen even a little bit bigger here. The peach color, those are, sorry about that. Those are professional development investments. And what I wanted to give you was what would the cost be for fiscal 21? Keep in mind that money would be coming from CARES money, so that's not local money. And then I wanted to stretch it out for fiscal 22, 23, and 24, knowing that when you make an investment in curriculum, it's a multi-year process. The white items are the consumable materials and also the teacher and student editions. And then down at the bottom, the 2 yellow, Kiddom and Dreambox, are technology-based solutions. And one of the things you'll see at the bottom is that with those investments, we actually would back out about $6,000 from the local budget. We had put in for MOBI and IXL, and we feel that this would be a better solution. So you can see that the total for the CARES money investment would come in just under 49,000. And then there are costs in the future years. Because we'd be looking to buy 3-year subscriptions, the biggest cost comes 3 years out, because at that point we'd have to re-up. You do not have to buy in 3-year increments. We just think that it would be a beneficial way to provide a supportive learning environment for math. So I'll stop there. And I did, as I said, the academic committee met last week. It was Kim Robinson, Julie, Christy Mittman joined us, Amanda Bowen, the math chair, and Todd. And we kind of walked through this, but happy to answer any questions to the full board.
I have a question. So the Dreambox for Learning, is it proposed that that would come out of the technology line in going forward? And is that typical of online curriculum that the technology department pays for it?
Yeah, that is typical. That's exactly what we're suggesting, Cindy, is that those would, it would sort of be offset. We'd be backing about 6,000 out from the MOBI and IXL, which we use to supplement instruction now. So the difference ends up being around $2,000 more. And I do think that many districts would place those annual subscription kind of fees into the technology budget. Up above, you'll note that I also wrote that I think that there's the potential with the professional development. If we are thoughtful about how we write our Title II grant, I think that we might be able to offset some of those upcoming costs because the Title II is the improvement of instruction piece. So at this point, oh, sorry, Julie, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to add, when we spoke during the academic committee meeting, one of the questions I had was, can we use the FY 22, can we move forward into the FY 22 or whatever, I don't, the second year of financial commitment, can some of that be covered with CARES money also?
And again, I think that that is, I mean, as we talked about, there is, I think, some chance for that. I think we also want to be thoughtful about making sure that we use our CARES money to support all the ways our district may be impacted. So I think maybe Kim Robinson kind of asked when we were on that academic committee is, you know, how else could that money be spent? And so we do want to be mindful of that. So taking about a third of it. initially is what we're proposing. I think Todd has shared with the admin team and I think the board that the CARES money has, it actually has like a 2-year horizon, Todd, on expenditures. So I
Correct.
do think there may be some potential to offset future costs.
Yeah, and with the CARES Act, you can go in and you can modify your applications. So if we, just because we put something in our application initially, as needs come up and you identify different challenges in your district, you can go back in and modify that application. So that's certainly something we could do. And I would say, having been in a building that we just implemented ELA curriculum and math curriculum in my previous district, the amount of money there, it looks like a lot, but curriculum is extremely expensive. That is not a big price tag. And one of the things I said when I came to the district was how important I think it is to be that we have sequential curriculum and that we have consistent curriculum throughout all our buildings. And we currently, I'm not saying teachers aren't doing a good effort to try to do that now, but there is no set curriculum at Phillips, same curriculum as at Kingfield, or if there is, it's homegrown. So this would give us some consistency across all 3 buildings as well.
I have one more question. Did you explain, and I know we talked about it a little more thoroughly maybe in our meeting, but how, sorry, I can't speak, how we can use this moving forward if we're going to remote, going into remote learning for another year, or if we have students who need that platform in the future. I mean, can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think, again, the questions that we want to ask about curriculum now are really different than what we would have asked 6 months ago. And so we, Christy, Amanda, Shelby Newell, Amanda Wilkins, and I have met with a variety of vendors. And one of the big things that we've been asking about is we met with 4 different districts using some of these a whole set of different products. And we really wanted to get a sense of how did it translate into remote learning. And we feel like the solution you have here is one that will work in either setting. And the professional development that goes along with it, I think for the 6-8, I know that that's a big thread of what they would be tying in is how do you launch this in either a blended situation or in a fully remote learning situation. So I think both of these support us with in-person, blended, or fully remote.
Great, thank you, Johanna.
Yeah, and for this, I think we do need, I think this is an action item that we need the board to consider, just because, if it were one-time money only, I can see where that would sort of be in a different situation, but where they're, we're making a commitment to move in a direction, we'd like the support of the board or, for you all to consider it.
Right. Nope, you are correct. We do need board action on this, so thank you.
Now, can I speak for a minute? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi, it's Nicole. Do you need action at this meeting, or do we have time to consider this?
I mean, certainly I respect that desire to consider it. The reason that we were hoping for action tonight is that because of the professional development, ideally that would happen this summer, and our next board meeting is unfortunately not until July 16th, which just makes it a little bit more challenging for us then to think about trying to get teachers engaged in the professional development before we return to school, and any last conversations that we need to have with staff to make sure that staff, understands the plan and the direction that we're going. So I'd be hopeful for tonight, but certainly I can see where you need time to consider.
No, and I get that, absolutely. And I respect that everyone needs some time to think about it. But the thing that I'm coming up against right now is this is the first time I'm seeing or hearing about this because these materials were sent to us 7 hours ago.
And I apologize, I had hoped they would get out a little bit earlier for consideration because it is a lot. It is part of the reason we called the academic committee. I believe, and I don't want to speak for Kim or Julie, my sense when we left that meeting was that they were supportive of the plan. We had almost an hour conversation about it. Again, I respect that still doesn't allow you time to process the whole piece.
I would make a motion that we table this till a later date, whether that be a special meeting a couple weeks from now, before the July meeting or whatever, just so we have time to look over the materials.
That is your motion.
Correct.
Does she have a second? Okay, I don't have a second on that motion, Nicole. Would somebody else like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we move forward with the math curriculum, the CARES money, and the future as they need to be.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Kim, would you rephrase the motion? I'm sorry, I can't hear with the background. Will you restate the motion, please?
I will restate it for you, Julie.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
I make a motion that we move forward with the math curriculum using the CARES money and the payments therefore afterwards as they need be.
And the motion was seconded and opened back up for further discussion. And then there was a vote of all those in favor. Yeah. Yes, please. Yep. Okay. Were there any opposed? And then we have Nicole abstaining. Where's Barbara? Oh, Barbara's abstaining. You are.
I'm just going to assume that all the principals are.
We can't hear the question. She's muted. Can Barbara repeat the question? She was muted.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm going to abstain here because Zoom is very difficult to follow. Joanna, what you've presented, and of course it's very new, so I'm just hoping that the principals are all on board and Todd feels this is a good purchase. So I'm just going to be abstaining. Good luck.
Great, thank you. So the motion was passed, Johanna.
Okay, and with the numbers tonight and the weighting of votes, it does carry.
You're asking for the numbers? The motion was passed, but do you want the exact numbers?
No, I just wanted to make sure. I was trying to count the number of folks on the call and just making sure that.
Right, there were only 2 abstentions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, now I've lost page 2. Nope, here we go. Thank you. Next, we have the 2020 through 2022 Carabassa Valley tuition agreement.
Yep, the only correction or the only changes that Carabassa requested was they added pre-K and there was 1 spelling error. that they caught from the previous agreement. So the agreement as presented was accepted by them. I just need to sign off on it if the board agrees to it, and we'll be good to go for another 2 years.
I make a
I make
motion
a
that
We accept the Carabasset Valley tuition agreement for years
2020
2020.
to 2022.
I second it. Oh, sorry. I second it.
Any discussion?
You're right, I know that. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Serena's in favor.
And Julie?
Julie.
Great, thank you. Oh, Serena too, right? Yeah. And we have central office summer hours, June 29th through August 20th.
You're muted.
This is informational for the board. The central office summer hours will go Mondays through Thursday, 10-hour days, 7:30 to 5:30. So we'll get the 40 hours in, but we'll do them Monday through Thursday,
7:30 to 5:30.
7:30 to 5:30. And it's a long day.
Monday through Thursday.
Correct. All right, the next thing, we moving on?
Yep.
All right, budget information, town meetings. I think I shared with you that we did Kim and I did a remote town meeting. These meetings blend, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself. But we did a remote learning. We did a remote town meeting with Phillips, and when they did an in-person one was Strong. We've shared the materials with the other two towns. Yep. And there were a couple of board members. Jess was there and Cindy was there with us at Phillips. So we did roll that out to the towns. I have a budget brochure that's ready to go. However, we were waiting for information from the governor's office on how we could proceed, and that's what I'm bringing to you tonight. So I'm just waiting on some fine tuning of language. Those will be printed, and I will distribute those to local businesses as have been on in the past. We'll put it on the website. Jared and I will get it out tomorrow on the website. I'll send it out electronically to anybody who would like it, and we'll just have information available. The big question that we were waiting for was the whole district budget meeting, our question and answer session, and we did have an hour meeting with attorneys from Drummond Woodsum after the governor's language was released. Lynn was in that meeting with me, so she can certainly chime in at any moment should she so want to. One of the big discussions was the attorney did not like the language of the executive order because the thing they were hung up on was shall be suspended. And what is the interpretation of shall be? And lawyers said that is not good language to use, so they had to go back because it leaves, it's open for interpretation. They had to go back and cite a couple court cases where shall be was utilized. And in our legal team's opinion, the governor is suspending the town meetings format that we've done. That's their interpretation of it. That being said, the governor did release some additional information saying, but even though they shall be not allowed or shall not happen, if you choose to have those, this is what you need to follow. And we have all those restrictions or guidelines, if you will. We had hoped that we could have 50 people in the cafeteria and 50 people in the gymnasium. We've been told we probably cannot do that. So we could run into a problem immediately if we had more than 50 people show up, because you can't prevent people from being involved in the process. I'm looking at Scott over there. He and I have talked about some of the requirements. We do not have the bathroom facilities that we could, because we have single stalls and things like that. There were a variety of obstacles that we just do not feel that we can overcome to allow that to happen with the restrictions that are and the guidelines that we have in place. And I do go back to the our legal counsel's interpretation of shall be, and put a lot of stock in them. So at this point, what I am recommending is that we do and I will say that the Western Maine superintendents, there were about 9 or 10 of them in that meeting, and all 10 of them agreed that they would that they are going to try to go virtual with their rollout. So what that would mean is I would keep the 23rd as a day. Scott and I will work, not Scott, Jared and I will work on a presentation of each of the article items. I'll present the entire brochure. It will go live stream. I will be able to take any questions, so people will have the opportunity to present any questions they may have about the cost centers. We will leave the comment and question and answer section open for the entire duration between that presentation up until the vote. So people can ask questions electronically after the fact, and we will get them answers to their questions. And I'm trying to think, Lynn, anything else I'm forgetting? We will videotape the presentation and we will leave it on the website. So if someone didn't get the opportunity to see it that evening, they will be able to see it at a later date. They can go back and watch it again, should they have any questions about any of the other cost centers. And we will be able to provide them with answers to their questions. One of the concerns I had originally had was the whole universal notification. Our attorneys have assured us that if we make this meeting, we make the public aware of this meeting, similar to how we do every other meeting, make sure it's in the press, make sure it's on our website, and any other format that we use, social media, to make our residents aware of us having meetings. As long as we adhere to that same practice, we will cover that aspect of it. So that concern is no longer a concern. So that will be presented on the 23rd. The budget validation referendum vote is on July 14th. So that would be out there for 2 weeks for people to see and ask questions should they have any concerns. And as I said, all the other superintendents who were in that meeting agreed to adhere to the legal counsel, if you will, and pursue it through virtual means.
And what time is that starting?
I hadn't set a time because I didn't know what we were going to do. So I can probably 6 o'clock-ish or something. I'll put it on the brochures and I will get all those brochures out. I'm going to print them. I have held off on printing them only because I didn't want to have to print them multiple times. So I'll print those and distribute those tomorrow in the communities and over the next couple of days. I don't know if I can get them all out tomorrow because there's so many school activities going on that I want to be able to witness as well. So, excuse me? That has to be, I'm talking about the brochures, getting the brochures out. Yeah, we are on a very tight, that's the other thing, we're on an extremely tight timeline because of the delay in us getting guidance from Augusta. It has put us really up against I'd say 11th hour, but it's probably 11th hour and 45th minute. We're that tight to try to get the stuff done and legally get everything signed and everything out to the towns and get all the things written up the way they have to be written up. So at this point, I would ask the board to agree with my recommendation to go with the virtual meeting on the 23rd, the validation vote on the 14th.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does the board participate in the meeting on the 23rd?
They certainly could. They don't have to. It'd be,
or is it just a presentation?
it's a presentation, but it's a question and answers. I will ask Lynn to be there in case they get deep into the weeds as far as, questions about the specific, lines in the budget or something. So I'll ask her to be there. Certainly board members could be there if you want to be. It is a presentation I have to do, not something you have to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think support is a great thing. So especially in this very difficult time that we're in. So I certainly think that would be welcome. It could be virtual. It doesn't have to necessarily be people sitting around like we're trying to get back to now. But I'll probably do it right here. Yes. Jared, text here, and I'll have a presentation that I can display similar to what Joe just did with her screen.
So maybe you could send us an email and you have the particulars.
Yep. I shared a sample of the brochure. I'll pull a lot of information out of that brochure that I already shared with the board. But I will use those PowerPoint slides and things like that.
Does anyone have any concerns about the June 23rd question and answer session?
23rd, I believe, is a Tuesday. It had to be 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's on a Tuesday.
7 days. So It is a Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday. Yeah.
I have 6 o'clock.
Yep, 6 o'clock, Tuesday, the 23rd. Great. Thank you, Todd.
So I don't know if the board might want to take a vote on that just to make it official.
You want to take a
I
vote?
would. I would.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you have to read.
I
We
move,
get it. Is that the motion? Is that the motion?
Yeah.
I move that the vote titled "Vote to Call a District Budget Referendum, Call a Public Hearing, Approve the Referendum Warrants, and Approve the Notice of Public Hearing be approved in form presented to this meeting, and that a copy of said vote be included with the minutes of this meeting." Okay, I am not done. Vote to call a district budget referendum, call a public hearing, approve the referendum warrants, and approve the notice of public hearing. Whereas pursuant to Governor's Executive Order number 56, FY 19-20, the district budget meeting is suspended and replaced by a remote public hearing and the proposed budget submitted to referendum. And whereas the school board has approved a proposed budget and other questions for submissions to the voters of the district, now therefore be it voted that the warrants and notices of election for the district budget referendum presented to this meeting be approved, and that a district budget referendum be called for July 14th, 2020, for the purpose of submitting a fiscal year 2020 the fiscal year 2020 to 2021 school budget and other fiscal matters to the voters of the district for approval as set forth in the warrants and notices of elections. That the notice of public hearing presented to this meeting be approved, and that a remote public hearing be called for June 23rd, 2020 for consideration of and comment on the fiscal year 2020 to 2021 school budget and other fiscal matters to be submitted to the district voters at the July 14th, 2020 district budget referendum, and that the warrants and notices of elections and the notice of public hearing shall each be signed by a majority of the school board, and that such signatures may be made electronically by execution of counterparts or in person at the convenience of the members of the school board. A true copy is adopted by a majority of the school board attest. Do I have to keep going? I certify that the June 9th. Never mind, I'm done.
I second the motion. I second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Serena.
Yeah.
I really want to do the receipt that.
Great. That was unanimous. Thank you, everyone.
There's a lot of signatures.
Now,
I think we're pretty much, yeah, we can, but I think we're pretty much.
We're almost done.
We're almost done.
Right.
Yeah. We can sign them before we go into executive, or sign them after if you want.
yep. So vote to call a district budget referendum, call a public hearing, did that. Yeah, we're down to reports, board chair, nope, superintendent, regional meeting date.
Yeah, just I continue to meet with about 3 different groups. I meet with the Kennebec Valley Superintendents Association, which is located, those schools primarily in the Augusta area. I meet weekly with the Western Maine Superintendents Association, which is obviously over in this area. And there's a smaller subgroup of the Western Maine and a couple of Kennebec Valley that meet every other week, just to about every other week discuss all the stuff that's going on. So it's just ongoing communication. What we're struggling with, and we have the same questions that every other As I said, I'm
tomorrow with the Western Main Superintendent's
Association and the Commissioner of Education. So we'll see what new guidance we get out of that meeting tomorrow. Staff correspondence, I shared that with you, just trying to answer some of the questions that I know staff were wrestling with or were hoping to get answers to. So I did send that out. I was waiting for some of the decisions to be made in this meeting before I sent one out to the community, but I will send a similar message out. Not everything will pertain to community members, but they have probably similar questions as to what our staff had. So I will be communicating with them as well, just to try to answer
whatever questions they have to the best we can right now. I just don't want to send out information and have to turn around and
change it quickly. And then summer work, Lorraine already mentioned what the summer, extended school year program may look like. I like her idea of trying to replicate whatever we come up with. I say administrators, we are going to bring
stakeholders into those discussions.
I'm muted. It's you. So we will be bringing stakeholders around the table to try to get as many angles, many lenses as we can to see what that start of school year will look like. I know that's the big question that parents, guardians want to know is what will it look like? I'm hoping that I look at Christina over in the corner. I know the MPA has put out some things. As you came in, you probably saw kids out on the soccer field actually playing under the direction of coaches. So I'm hoping that maybe athletics will steer the ship. I'm also hoping that as the governor is looking at different geographical regions of the state, what we're able to do up here in Franklin may not be the same thing that Cumberland County can do, which may, in this case, be a good thing for us. So I'm hoping that as we look at those numbers, maybe we can, make some decisions that are best for us. And the other final decision that will come down is, what do we get? Is it guidance or is it mandated? If it's guidance, then we can do whatever the board so chooses moving forward. So we'll have to chat about that as well. And certainly we would get legal counsel on whatever decisions we make, just to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. But those are the things on our plate right now.
Great, thank you. Okay, so now we need to sign all of the warrants. And then we have 2 executive sessions after we sign the warrants. But as far as the ones that are not here tonight, we'll make arrangements to.
As far as people that are remote, our guidance from the attorneys was that as long as you were participating remotely, you could still sign. I did have one school board member reach out to me and said they could not participate tonight, but they would like to sign. If people do not participate either in person or remotely, they cannot sign. So it can only be those that are here in person tonight or those that are remote, and we'll set up a way to get those documents signed by them. And the one thing I got to caution you is, as you sign these, you have to sign on the exact same line on every document. So if you're the first person on the top left column, make sure you're the first person on the top left column on all of them.
Okay, so that leaves Julie, Serena, and Nicole to make arrangements to go to the superintendent's office to sign the warrants.
And I would be willing to travel with them if that's a hardship.
Yeah, or just contact Todd.
I'll be last. Start that way. Yeah.
Probably the easiest thing to do is, yes, what Kim just suggested, put them on one table and have everybody just move to each document.
We got a gap right here, Lynn, if we want to spread them out here.
There are 2 things that need to be signed. The first one is notice of public hearing. There are 7 copies of that. Everyone needs to sign that. And the next thing is called the warrant and notice of election for budget referendum. And there are 10 of those for each municipality. So you have 40 total documents to sign there.
Kim, for those of us joining rem-
So when do I get you my daughter's computer?
I'm shutting right off. Because I didn't know what was executive session.
She's in high school. I haven't heard anything.
Kim, I printed up copies of everything for,
Yeah, she's gonna see.
I got your vote tallies. I made extra copies of that, so I have it every, I got the executive session.
So you bring them here?
Right in the gym. I don't know if you saw the table set up. No, we came in that way.
Board members that are on here, we're going to get through this signing just as quickly as we can so we can go into executive session. Bear with us.
may others of us sign off the call? Kim?
Sorry, Johanna, I didn't hear you.
Can we sign off the call, those of us that are not joining executive session?
Yep, please. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Julie, Serena, and Nicole, I just sent you private messages just asking if you would prefer me to bring the documents to you or how you would like to get those signed. So if you want to, you can respond I just didn't want to put it out. I mean, I just thought out of privacy, I'd ask you personally. So it's in the chat window.
I know. Honestly, finding that, it's like saving your password. You get something. And believe me, I have it.
You done?
But those.
You got your own secretary over there or what?
It's the boss.
He's so
Is this the only one? This is what was here? Yes. That one. Top name on that list, maybe. That's the second one.
Retired now.